Grace, and what we're doing today is I am making a dress with this fabric here from Melanated Fabrics. So this is curated by Mimi G and Brittany J, and you can go to melanatedfabrics.com. This is, I know I'm not gonna say this right. It's 100% lyocell. I actually don't know what that is, but it's a twill, and the color is henna. And so I actually had a completely different thing in mind. This is like a mix. It feels like a twill, but like a twill linen almost, like a blend between the two. But anyway, I'm gonna have to look up and see what that is and the proper way to say it. And so I actually don't think that I have enough of this fabric. I think I only got, oh man, I only got 2 yards. I'm probably not gonna end up using this. But anyway, so what I'm making is a wrap dress. And so I looked and I was actually gonna make something completely different with these sleeves that you could bow tie at the end, that have front pockets, front fake pockets on the front. Just a very simple A-line type of vintage dress with upscale sleeves. And then I saw this other dress. It's from who is this dress from? Ulla. It's Ulla something, but the dress was so cute, and I was like, oh man, I really want to make that. And so I felt inspired, and I'm not going to make it exactly like hers, only because there are a few things that I can sort of figure out, but it's a lot of little details that I don't want to do, but there are a lot of details that I do want to do, so it'll be a tad bit different. And I'm gonna try to put that dress in the actual name of the Ulla dress here so that you can see for comparison. So I don't have a good wrap dress pattern. They're not easy, right? I had a wrap dress I made 2 wrap dresses. Actually, one I never finished because it was horrible. The pattern was trash. And so I never even finished it. This was like years ago, probably over now 6 years ago. And so I never even finished it. So then I made another dress, and I wear it sometimes. It's one of those like, I don't feel like getting dressed, let me put this on, right? And so but it had like pleats and these tucks that were just weird. And I just don't like it for my body. It just doesn't work. I'm already thick, and it add thickness, and it wasn't cute. The pattern was okay, and it may have been the fabric that I chose, because I don't particularly look at, oh, this is a knit pattern, and sometimes I have cost me, but I just, more so pay attention to, oh, I like this, I wanna wear this, and I wanna do it like this, right? So I said, this is my first time, right? First time actually using one of my dresses that I already have and making a pattern from that dress. So this is a Jones, New York from a long time ago. I got this a long time ago from a box department store, and it is one of my favorite dresses. When I say a long time ago, I'm talking at least 13, 14 years ago. All right. And so I love this dress. It is one of my favorite go-to black dresses. Like, the fabric is wearing on it. And so it's a nice concept. I don't know if you could see that, wrap dress. So what I did was I used wrapping paper, some handy dandy wrapping paper, okay? Because I have pattern paper. Because I want to do some of my own slopers for my body as a beginning place. And I was just like, and I ordered that probably over 2 years ago, and child, I don't know what I said. So I said, oh, what can I use? What can I use? And ta-da, pattern paper appeared, right? I was like, yes, I'm going to use this because it's sturdy enough. It's light enough, but sturdy enough to use, right? So here are all my pattern pieces. So I have 2 huge flounces that are going to go around the neckline, and these flounces are, I did a 2-inch flounce and a 3-inch flounce for them to go on top of each other like this all across the neckline. So now I'll put the link down in the description box of the video that I use, because I go back to this video all the time to get the measurements to make the flounce. And I actually am gonna make it a little bit longer just to do a tad bit of gathering on it. Why am I gonna do that? But I'm gonna do a tad bit of gathering on it prior to sewing it on, instead of just being the exact measurement going around, because I do want a little bit more flare from it. I may not do gathering, we'll see. So this is the back of the skirt. So the skirt was in tiers, and what I did was just now let me say, I am very aware that I did not add, because I was tracing out from the dress. Whenever I cut out, I will add some, I was gonna say selvage, Lord, some, my God, the word is escaping me, but a little bit, I'm gonna probably add about, not 5/8 of an inch, maybe like a little bit less than that, so that I can have something to sew on to. Now let me say that that was a knit, and I am not making a knit, clearly, and so I am gonna make a few adjustments for that, but I just wanted to get it traced out good. And so I have 4 block pieces, because that dress goes quite a bit, about this much from here to about here, below my knees, so it's a midi dress. So what I did was I cut that back part into 4 pieces, and you can see that I put top back, and I'm reminding myself that's the fold, that's the top, and 2. I did also some markings so that I can kind of keep them aligned, if you will. And so this is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So I am gonna make them just a little bit longer than what they are, so that I can gather just a tad bit. I'm gonna do some gathering. So this is the back to be cut on the fold. And then this is the front. So what I did was, when I cut out the front of the skirt, one panel side, you know how sometimes wrap dresses, one is straight and then the other is diagonal? Well, this one was symmetrical on both sides, in terms of both of the sides were the same. So I was like, why am I cutting out 2 of everything and I'm gonna do 1? And so this is the one for, again, I cut it into 4 pieces. And what I kept the 4th piece just so that I can have, if I want to do this again and the pattern turns out good, then it'll be like more of a midi kind of dress. And so this here is the, I got top, right, and left side. I was trying to remind myself that this is for both sides. All right, so that's the bottom of the skirt. And then we have the top part of the bodice. Here, y'all see that pretty wrapping paper? So this is the top part here. Now, what I noticed about this top part here, whenever I did it, that this side, when I folded this and I tried to match this side, it didn't match. So I was like, I folded this together and I noticed that this side should have been the same. When I cut it out, this went a little bit higher, almost 1 inch. So I wanted to make sure that I checked the measurements. And so I'm gonna use the left side. I'm gonna use the left side. And I put on there made from stretch, so that I remind myself that, girl, add some so you can have some to sew on, plus a little bit extra, because it was stretch fabric that it was made with, although it doesn't stretch a whole lot. I mean, the fabric does, but I don't use the stretch because the dress is a little bigger. But anyway, and you can see I got right side top, left side top, and then the back, which the back, I'm just going to, I folded the back together to also kind of make the sleeves the same. One side I obviously did better because when in matching the front to the back shoulder and armpit, it was almost exactly even. So I wanted to make sure that everything was going to be even on. So I'm going to cut this on the fold here. And then the pattern, I put some dots here, and you can see I make it wider for gathering, and I'm gonna use this dot as the place to stop the gathering because I do want a little bit gathering in the back toward the bottom because my inspiration dress is like that and it's cute, okay? And so I put those notes there to remind myself because I will forget. I should also say with these pieces here, I did cut them. This is the length from here to here. I should say the depth of each cut is 6 inches. So I measured precisely 6 inches on each of these so that I can make sure that the front and the sides match. And I was gonna do markings here, or notches, if you will, so that I can make sure that's what I am worried about is, oh man, that's what I'm worried about is when I do sew it, that they won't be even, because somehow my lines always do this. I don't be caring, but it do that. And so we will see about that. Now, the sleeves is the only thing that I haven't cut out yet because they have these big dramatic puff sleeves. And I have an idea of how I want to create the pattern for that and add some tucks. And I want to be a little bit more precise. And so I'm going to do it at the end because I'm just feeling like I know this fabric is not going to be enough. So this is my final look with our drafted pattern. And so I'm pretty happy with it. There are some things that I would change and some things that I would do different. And I think this camera is crooked, but that's okay. You get the picture, you can see it. And so I think, I can't remember all of what I said, but let me just kind of go through it here. What I ended up doing was this, you can see this right here was most difficult only because my baby hem for creating this baby, my presser foot for creating this baby hem is just ridiculous. I'm really happy with how the sleeves turned out. So I'm gonna put a little mini video or picture here as in how I created the sleeves. I actually used another regular sleeve pattern, just a basic sleeve sloper from another pattern that I used, and I used this oversized cutout to shape it essentially to that pattern because I couldn't figure out how to get the sleeve shaped to where it needed to be. And that worked out really, really well for me in terms of getting the pleats and tucks and other things exactly the way I wanted them. A few things that I didn't account for. So you can see how wide open this is, right? And how far off the shoulder. So I would have made this neckline back here a little bit shorter so that I can bring this in more like this. And I may still do that at some point, is to kind of sew this in like this, because right now it's all off of, and that's too much for me. I've said before, I wear bras. And so, and it's way down here. And so I feel like if I just pull that together a little bit, it'll actually kind of stay up pretty nicely here. And so if I can get it to stay up, that'll be fine. I'm wearing an undershirt because it just doesn't cross over here. The other thing, I knew I was using a knit fabric dress to create this. However, I thought I overcompensated enough for the knit fabric, and I think I would have liked a little bit less here, and I should have made the pattern more here. And I may go back and make some adjustments to the pattern so that if I want to make another wrap dress, a different type, I can actually make some adjustments to that pattern now while it's in my mind so that I can think about that. Everything was pretty symmetrical for the most part in terms of matching the top and the back pieces. I actually used the right side piece instead of using this because it fell a little short whenever I looked at the measurements, and so that worked out fine. You could see here that it comes over here. I probably would want it to come over just another ½ inch at least, but also not accounting again for using a knit fabric, because when I put that dress on, I stretch it all out, not realizing that that makes that come over just a little bit more. So I didn't think about that there. The other thing was mixing this very, very heavy fabric. So you can see that obviously I added some more fabrics here. I didn't have enough of this one. I wanted desperately to use this fabric from Melanated Fabrics, and I actually started to order some more, but the shipping was kind of expensive. And at that time, it didn't have express. And I really wanted to get this one done so I can go on to a different concept that was in my mind. They just want to tell y'all hello, and they're not welcome. But anyway, so I was gonna use just this here, just the yellow. And you saw this on another video, this mustard tinsel here that I used. And it's a twill. It's pretty much the same, almost the same weight as this, a little bit different. And I was just like, oh, but just this in the yellow is not enough contrast. I just knew in my mind that I wasn't gonna like the way that looked. And then I kept looking at pictures of other color block, and I was like, I need to see it. I'm a very visual person. And then I came across something that had these 3 colors. I was like, ooh, I got something like that. So I used this against my better judgment. I think the wrap would be a lot nicer here. And in the back, had I used a more forgiving fabric. This fabric is a twill. It's a satin face twill that I got from Mood Fabrics when it was on clearance like so long ago, and I know now why it was on clearance, because it's just really, it's not that it would be great for a jacket or something that you're making that's cottony that goes with something. It just didn't work for anything else really. It's a very hard fabric. It stretches, so I like that it stretches here with the belt, but it's just so heavy. And it doesn't match in terms of weight and drape and these other fabrics. Here you can see how this just is driving me bananas. But anyway, so what I wish I could have, I love the color, but I wish I could have had, I wish everything could have been this, right? My inspiration, there were also these other blocks of like folded things, and y'all know I'm lazy. I wasn't doing all that. But I thought I cut these out and again compensated enough, because I took the regular skirt and then I cut it up into 3 parts. And then I oversized it so that I can get some gathering. But mind you, the reason why I didn't overdo it so much is because I just didn't have enough fabric. You would really need a good 4 yards for this, probably 5 with the belt, if you want to make it all the same. And so I wanted some more gathering to make it really pop out here, and I just didn't get that. I was able to gather this some, you can't even tell, it's so little. Yeah, it didn't work out that way, but we're still happy. The other thing is I measured these, and I don't know if I said that before, all of these little blocks are 6 inches in length here. And I probably should have did 7. I did overcompensate, and I probably should have did 8 so that I can have some edge to sew with, plus some plus the actual length of the fabric, because it shortened it significantly. So this is pretty short for me, and I feel it's not like, oh my God, she got all her body out, but it is pretty short, you know. And so I did want it to be a little bit longer, but neither here nor there. We're happy, you know. I think my top part, in terms of my Ulla Johnson inspiration, is cutting it pretty close. I did some modifications. I actually was gonna put 2 gold belts here. two gold buttons here instead, and I think I would have liked that more. Everything in me said, do it the way you want, right? Do it the way you want with the gold buttons. Everything in me, because I feel like just the way the wrapping situation is going in the back, it's just not making me happy. And I feel like I would have been so happy with these two ornate gold buttons on each side to, you know, attach the wrap. But what they say, always follow your first mind. This is giving me problems here. I'm going to take this off and try to sew this up real quick so that we can fix this situation. But anyway, let me know if you have questions about how I created this or how you might create it. I'll be happy to share. Until next time.